I did want to let you know about what is talked about increasingly, and that is recession. I mean, and real economic hard times. Uh, Donald Trump inherited a fairly solid economy, I mean, the best economy in the developed world, and it appears that he just wants to screw with stuff, right? He wants to flex when it comes to Canada, when it comes to Mexico. So he's got this sort of pugnacious quality, like he wants to start a fight all the time. And that's what he appears to be doing. And the markets are reacting to the herky jerky nature of everything. One of the great reasons that America is it's such a uh, treasure of investment worldwide is because we have a fairly solid both economy and political system, you know. And obviously, we are a great engine of economic growth, but the solidity of the economic system and of the political system is now very much in question. So, for the first time, you're hearing questions about, are we going to be moving into a recession? We're seeing markets all over the place, generally way down. And Trump himself has now been questioned by the right wing media about perhaps a looming recession. Tony has, from this weekend, Trump being questioned on Air Force One about the recession. Here's a little bit.
Are you worried about a recession? Maria Bartiromo asked you, and you kind of hesitated.
I'll tell you what, of course you hesitate. Who knows? All I know is this. We're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. We're going to have jobs. We're going to have open factories. It's going to be great, and the plane is landing. And
yeah, you're not even going to know where to spend all that money. It's just going to be so great. I mean, he is just the great BS machine. You know, it is. It's remarkable to watch that guy. I mean, by now, isn't everybody on to the way it works? Maybe not. Here's what's happened in the markets. We've seen in the last, this is the 1 month Dow, and it is, it's down. It's down substantially. But look at the economy that he inherited and now how it's just fallen off a ledge since he started with tariff talk and since he started with the back and forth on Ukraine, sort of the destabilization of things both domestically and worldwide has produced show them the 3-month graph, if you would, please. Yeah. So you can see when he took office and now what's happening as these policies are increasingly getting airtime, getting more and more into the zeitgeist. I mean, you're seeing a dramatic drop in the stock market. Now, the stock market is not the only index by which you evaluate an economy's health, but it does speak to the dramatic way in which investors see Trump as real trouble. And typically, a guy like Trump, right? Rich guy surrounded by other rich guys. He's populated his administration with more rich people, billionaires, than any other administration in history. You'd think that he would take care of Wall Street. And at some point, he may. But it doesn't appear as though he will in the short term. Trump's going to be so rich, says Stephen Michaels, the country will be poor. Yeah. It's he doesn't really have an economist's mind. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He is, I think, just working the levers and the dials that are there in the Oval Office. And of course, it is in service of a tax cut, without question. He's looking for money. One of the places he's looking for money, and this is the ridiculous thing, is Social Security. Trump himself is acknowledging publicly that we may have to go through some tough times to get to the promised land. And that certainly wasn't something he was saying on the stump. He promises, blue skies and sunshine. And now it is really a dismantling of government, destruction of everything, handing it all over to the richest man in the world. And we've seen now the markets begin to respond to his inability to really commit to any kind of fiscal policy moving forward. So it's flaw by design, says Flowers and Thorns. Perhaps. I don't think Trump wants to see the markets fall off a ledge, but he definitely has a death grip on these tariffs. And the tariffs are recessionary, without question. They're also arbitrary. It's a bizarre way in which they're being applied. Why Canada and Mexico? There's a solid agreement in place that Trump himself engineered during his last administration. And all of a sudden, he's not happy with that. In other words, how they get out from under tariffs is completely, it's not articulated. And I don't understand how it's even been communicated in any way. Like, as soon as this happens, we'll lift these tariffs. You don't get that. You get a different version all the time. They're imposing tariffs on us. We're going to impose tariffs on them. You begin to see how Trump himself doesn't really see the picture clearly either. So this is to be continued, but to make a point of it, recession is being spoken of in the Oval Office.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.